Semen retention will not make you a better man. It will not make you more successful. It will not make you more attractive. And it will not unlock some hidden version of yourself that has been trapped inside of you all along. I recently watched a video by author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horn, which was titled, "Why Semen Retention is for Unattractive Men." He made some very valid points in the video.
Nature gave us a very clear indicator that our semen was not meant to be retained. Okay, so every morning when you wake up, if you're healthy, if you have healthy blood flow, you're going to have what's called morning wood. Every man knows what that is. Okay, when you wake up, you're bricked up, you're ready to go conquer something. And that's nature right there. That's nature telling you to let your seed go.
Now, this made me think because I've practiced semen retention myself, not because I was trying to gain some type of superpower, but because of my circumstances at that time. So today, I want to take you through my journey with it, address what others are saying about semen retention, and give you the most honest, grounded take on whether you need semen retention or you could be fine without it. So here's the thing. I'm not speaking as a hater. I've actually done semen retention myself, but I need to give you the full context because context is everything. I was in a 3-month inpatient rehab facility less than a year ago so that I can get clean off of severe drug use. I didn't have access to sex. I made a conscious choice not to masturbate either because I thought about the whole concept of holding my seed. I felt like it would be a good idea at that time, and I will say this, during that time, I was working out harder. I was clean from drugs and I was focused. So on the surface, it looked like the semen retention was doing something. But at the same time, I was in an incredibly structured, high accountability environment. I attended group therapy sessions every day. I read lots of literature. I had zero access to substances or distractions. I had a workout routine. I was doing deep internal work 24/7. So was it the semen retention that gave me clarity? Or was it the fact that I removed drugs, became disciplined, and was finally facing myself for the first time in years? Honestly, it's impossible to separate the two. The semen retention felt like part of a large container of discipline, but I can tell you it was the magic ingredient. Now, fast forward, I'm out here in the free world. I'm holding down a job. I'm building my YouTube channel. I'm still working out. I'm currently 11 months clean from drugs, and I have to keep it absolutely 100 with you. Holding my nut right now does not do anything extra for me. It doesn't make me more creative with content. It doesn't make me more charismatic with the ladies. It doesn't accelerate my gym performance, nor do I have any desire to use drugs. I still have bad days and I still go through ups and downs, changes and turnarounds. I don't think holding my nut is going to provide the best version of myself to the world. And from my lived experience, it really hasn't. So that's my 2 cents on it. But maybe I'm the outlier. So what about the thousands of men who swear by semen retention? If you scroll through any semen retention video, you'll see the same sentiments repeated over and over. Guys saying things like, I'm storing up my minerals and energy in my body. I have so much more focus and vitality. I'm redirecting my sexual energy into my purpose. And look, I'm not here to mock these people because I do believe those men are genuinely experiencing something real. They feel more alive, more driven, and more centered in their life. And I'm happy for those guys because there is no manual on how to live life. But the question isn't whether they feel it. The question is what is actually causing that feeling. Because if we misidentify the cause, we end up chasing a superstition instead of understanding what's really going on. So let's start with the biology because there are some valid points here. Yes, semen contains trace amounts of zinc, fructose, and other compounds. But your body's nutrient levels are tightly regulated by your diet, not by your ejaculation frequency. You don't become zinc deficient from having a few orgasms. You could literally eat a handful of almonds and replace whatever minerals were lost. The idea that you're storing up a bank vault of nutrients by not ejaculating is not only biologically negligible, but that's actually wild to say. Your body will either reabsorb or excrete those compounds through pre-cum or a wet dream. There is no infinite mineral accumulation happening in your testicles. Then there's the storing energy claim. A single ejaculation contains about 3 to 5 calories worth of energy. 3 to 5 calories, right? Calories is how we measure energy in our bodies. So the fatigue you feel after you nut isn't caloric depletion. It's the release of a hormone called prolactin, which is designed to make you feel relaxed and sleepy. That's it. It's a neurochemical response, not an energy drain. So what's really happening? Here's what I believe, right? A lot of men who turn to semen retention either got too much sex or got no sex at all. See, too much sex or masturbation causes a compulsive dopamine loop. When they stop, they're breaking an addictive behavioral pattern that was draining their time, their mental focus, and their dopamine sensitivity. The clarity they feel is from removing the compulsive activity, not the semen. A guy who didn't get sex at all just used masturbation as a way to fulfill his sexual desires, and he ends up getting into that same dopamine loop because he's more comfortable with using his hand to please himself than he is comfortable with talking to a girl. So in his mind, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this brings me back to Matthew's point about natural release. Nature gave your body a release valve. Nocturnal emissions happen because your system knows how to regulate itself. Now, does this mean that holding your nut is automatically against nature? Just like choosing to fast for a day isn't going against nature either. But you're not biologically designed to hold your nut. Your body isn't designed to be a permanently sealed vault. It's designed to cycle, to release, to replenish. If nature truly wanted you to store every drop of semen, then ejaculation wouldn't exist. Now, I promised I wouldn't be dismissive, and there's one area where I know semen retention works. You can use semen retention to learn how to control your urges. There's a well-known psychological technique used in addiction therapy called urge surfing. It's a mindfulness practice where you sit with a craving and observe the craving, but you don't act on it. You just breathe through it. This trains your prefrontal cortex to regulate the impulsive limbic system. Over time, it reduces reactivity and creates a genuine inner stillness. But I think guys are confused on this though, because when a man practices semen retention, he is repeatedly experiencing sexual desire and choosing non-action. He's performing urge surfing for days or weeks on end with the sexual urge as his meditation object. So the inner stillness that he feels is not stored in his semen. It's a cognitive skill that he built through consistently not reacting to an impulse. The retention created the conditions for building discipline, but there's like 1,000 other ways to build discipline. Why do you want to really hold your nut? And why would you even want to hold your nut if sexual intercourse is actually healthy for you? See, the man addicted to adult content and compulsive masturbation needs semen retention because for him, sexual desire has become fused with anxiety, shame, and a wild amount of stimulus that takes over his brain. So every time he's bored, stressed, or lonely, he pulls out some lotion and pulls down his pants. His mind is saturated with sexual imagery. He's not experiencing natural desire. He's experiencing a dopamine loop that never truly satisfies him. So when this man practices semen retention, he's really breaking a cycle that controlled him for years. He's proving to himself that he can resist something that he was powerless to. The mental clarity he gets afterward is what happens when you stop flooding your brain with dopamine all the time. And for him, retention can be an incredibly powerful tool to detach from compulsivity. Another man who needs semen retention is a man who's burnt out. He had too many sexual partners. He might be someone who gets a lot of female attention, but he's realized that sex became a way to prop his ego, to chase validation, or to put on a performance rather than connect with people. It started feeling draining instead of fulfilling. He uses retention to take a break and figure out who he is when he's not constantly seeking or receiving sexual validation. Again, retention is a tool for a season. It's not an identity forever. And in both cases, what these men are truly seeking isn't permanent suppression of desire. They're seeking control over desire. They want to sit in the driver's seat instead of being dragged around by urges. The deeper need they're chasing is meaning, mastery, and the ability to channel their sexual energy into creative, intellectual, or spiritual pursuits. And the thing they don't realize is that Holding your nut isn't the only way to do this. You can have a healthy release with a girlfriend or by yourself and still pour that same creative energy into your purpose. You can still conquer the world with the empty nutsack, guys, I'm telling you. And there's a lot of men I see who get lost in this. They go from using retention as a temporary tool to making it their entire identity. They start moralizing it. They become terrified of losing their so-called power if they ejaculate. They're constantly counting days, monitoring their thoughts, and feeling like a failure if they slip up. Man, that's not freedom. You're putting yourself in another cage. If you can't enjoy your own sexuality without feeling like you've drained yourself, you haven't mastered your sexual energy. Your sexuality is mastering you through fear. True mastery means that you can bust a nut and then you get right back on your purpose. You're a man. You don't have to feel ashamed about busting a nut, dog. Like, what the fuck? And Matthew mentioned that what made him more masculine and magnetic was self-love and self-exploration, not suppression. And that's some real game because most sexually and spiritually grounded men I've ever met aren't the ones who obsess over their sperm count. They're the ones who've done the inner work, who know themselves, and who offer the world their gifts without fear. So here's my honest takeaway. Can semen retention be a useful tool? Absolutely. If you are a sex addict trying to rewire your brain or someone using sex as an ego booster, retention can give you a much needed reset. It can teach you impulse control. It can create the space for you to redirect your focus toward real goals. Like, it's definitely a good thing to do for those reasons. But is it the end all be all to masculinity, spiritual power, and success for every man? No. No, it's not. I'm sitting here as living proof that you don't need it right now. But I mean, a lot of young men are scared shitless to talk to girls, nor can they put down a blunt or a bottle to save their life. Meanwhile, I'm creating content, I'm creating music, I'm growing as a young man every day. I'm providing my own version of the best version of myself to the world, and I just had sex yesterday. I'm doing it through action, through honesty, and through intention. The power isn't in what you hold on to, the power is in what you channel, and you can channel it whether you release or not. Don't let anyone convince you that your worth, your masculinity, and your future is stored in a fluid in your nuts. It's stored in your choices, your discipline, and your willingness to face yourself honestly. But that's the conversation I wanted to have. If this gave you a new perspective, drop a like because it helps the channel. And I genuinely want to hear from you in the comments because I know people feel strongly about this. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Peace.